So we are going to go ahead and get started. Today we're making a tomato caprese sandwich. And also as kind of, whoops, hold on. I just pinned the wrong video there. Okay, hang on. Okay, there we go. Today we're making a tomato caprese sandwich, and we're going to make a bonus recipe of a summer yogurt bowl. And so what our feature of the day is basil. So we are going to be doing basil in both of these recipes, and these recipes are from, they're also going to be in the book that we're revamping, 6 ingredients or less. This is the original book, The Time and Dime Satisfy with 6 Ingredients or Less, but I'm going to make it much more obvious when I have the new cookbook. So we're retesting and revamping all the recipes, but the summer yogurt bowl is actually in here. And so we're going to be doing that recipe, and then the tomato caprese sandwich is actually going to be a new recipe that we're adding. So you guys are getting a sneak peek. All right, so before we get started, what we're going to want to do is make sure our hair's pulled back and our hands are washed properly. And you guys know what that means, singing happy birthday twice in our head as we use soap. And then we are also going to want to make sure our broiler is preheating. So we're going to make the sandwiches first and put those aside. And then we're going to do our summer yogurt bowl after that. All right, so it looks like everybody is getting their hands washed. Very nice. Good job, you guys. And we're also going to be, I got this bread at Whole Foods. We're going to be toasting some bread to make these sandwiches. And I'm going to give you a few different options with the sandwiches. And then with the yogurt bowl, I'm going to give you a couple options with that as well. So let's see. Do I have? Okay. I think I've got everything. I'm all ready if you guys are ready. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start by learning a little bit about basil. And I'm not going to do the quiz every week unless you guys really, really are like loving it, like the game that we do. So let me know what you guys think, if you really like doing the game or what, but we're going to go ahead and do one today about basil. So I want you guys to guess some of the questions. So we're going to learn a little bit about basil. All right. So what is basil? I mean, just, you're probably wondering, am I even going to like it? It's really green. I know a lot of kids don't really like green stuff. And you know what? A lot of adults don't like green stuff either. So don't worry. Here, we're going to introduce you to basil. You guys may or may not have already had it. There are several different types. Look at how beautiful that is. This is a purple basil. So I want you guys to guess, what is basil? Is it a vegetable, a fruit, or an herb? Katie, why don't you start and take your guess?
I think it's a herb.
Okay. And then Savannah, what do you guys guess?
An herb.
Okay. And what does your friend guess? Does she say the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good, you guys. Basil is a culinary herb. So great job with that. Okay. Now, what do you think? Sometimes these are kind of tricky. What do you think basil is related to? Could it be tomatoes, blueberries, or mint? All right, Savannah, you guys get to go first this time.
I know. And you decided with mint.
Okay, you're going to go with mint. Both of you guys? Okay. All right. And then, okay, looks good. And then Katie, what do you think?
Mint.
Mint as well for Katie. Okay. Very good, you guys. 2 for 2. Basil is related to mint as well as rosemary, lavender, and oregano. All right. How does basil grow? On a tree, on a bush, on a vine, or underground? Katie.
I think it grows on a bush.
Okay. And Savannah, what do you guys think?
A bush.
Bush?
think?
Okay. Both of you.
Yeah, I think we both agree.
Okay. Both agree on B, on a bush. Very good, you guys. You got them all right this time. I'm very impressed. Basil grows on a bush instead of a tree, vine, or as a root. So basil's hometown is originally native to India and other tropical regions of Asia. So it's been grown there for over 5,000 years. That's a long time. And so I tried to find out how many different types of basil there are, but it said anywhere from 50 to 150. So that seemed like kind of a big amount. So I just wanted to show you guys a few. So this one's purple basil. This one's called holy basil. Oh no, this is Thai basil. And this one is holy basil. So they all look a little different, but they're all types of basil. Basil is also really healthy. It's full of vitamins and nutrients and antioxidants, which help our bodies fight cancer. And so how do we want to eat basil? So we're going to be eating it fresh today, and fresh really is the best way. So really you want to add it towards the end of the cooking time usually. And there are tons of delicious ways to try basil. So I don't know if you've ever tried a pesto, which is in that picture above. You could put it in salads, on top of pizza, with desserts, which I think is so interesting. On bruschetta and drinks, over pasta, all kinds of different ways. So here's where they combine some with popsicles. I thought that was kind of cool. Here's one that they have it melting in a glass. Fresh, so you can put it with your fresh drink. So if you have any basil left over, you can put it in some drinks. With your pizza, it's always awesome. It goes so great with tomatoes. Bruschetta is another, whoops, I just left that little eggplant in there. Don't look at him. Okay, you could do a basil dip, some sauce, like tomato sauce. And look at this, with strawberries. And so you're gonna see, we're gonna put it with strawberries today. So we can learn more at World's Healthiest Foods is a great resource. And I really like to get nutrition information from Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine and nutritionfacts.org. So let's get started. We're going to start by toasting our bread. So we're going to get that toasting. Now, if you're using your broiler, which should be preheating right now, we're going to toast 8 pieces of bread. Well, if you want, the recipe calls for 4 sandwiches, okay? So if you only have 3 people in your family, you don't have to make the 4th sandwich right now, okay? So you can make however many people are in your family. So I have 3 people in my family, so I'm gonna toast 6 pieces of bread. All right, so I got this really nice, beautiful bread at Whole Foods today. And some of the pieces are so big, I'm gonna get a couple smaller ones.
Hey, Dawn, should we be broiling the oven at this point or no?
I have my broiler on because once we're gonna be melting the cheese, so we're preheating the broiler. So you can either toast your bread under the broiler or in a toaster oven. Okay, so let's get our bread toasting. If you put it under the broiler, I would set a timer or have somebody there in charge of watching it because it can go really, really fast. Okay, so I'm gonna use my toaster for this because I tend to be talking a lot and then burning stuff. So I'm going to, now we're toasting it first because then what we're gonna do is put our tomatoes on it. Here's where your first option is. You can either, so Gabby said that she does not want her tomatoes to be warm. So what she's gonna do is I'm gonna put her tomatoes on after we heat it up. So I'm going to put the cheese on hers right on the bread, whereas mine, I'm going to put the tomatoes and then the cheese on top. So what we need to do is slice some tomatoes. So make some thin slices of tomatoes. And then we'll do the next step together too.
We can't toast our bread because our power went out.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be delicious, even not toasted. So you're totally cool with that. So don't worry if you can't toast the bread. It'll still be delicious, not toasted. So don't worry about that at all. And in fact, some people may not want toasted bread, and that is fine too. So that's another option. So I am slicing 2 tomatoes here. And I'm going to be building my sandwich like it says in the recipe, and then I'll do Gabby's a little bit different. And then my husband, Chris, does not like tomatoes at all unless they're in tomato sauce or something like that. So always keep in mind, I encourage everybody to try things, right? But, you know, you want to keep in mind, you can alter a recipe to suit your needs, or like Katie doesn't have power right now, so she can't toast her bread. So you want to go ahead and build your recipes to suit your needs. While we're waiting for our bread to toast or not toast, are you guys done slicing your tomatoes? Give me a thumbs up if you're done. Okay, good. Katie, are you still working on your tomatoes? Yeah. Okay. They're still working on theirs. So I'm going to switch over and show you guys. Here's my tomatoes. And this is, I got this ready for the next recipe. So I got this, I'm going to show you, I got this, I actually found this Miyokos Kitchen. It's a cashew mozzarella, which I'm so excited about because I can't find it anywhere other than Whole Foods. But it has no cholesterol, and that's what I really love about this. So I am going to pop this out while you guys are getting finished up with your tomatoes. And I'm going to make some thin slices of the cashew mozzarella, but you guys want to just slice your mozzarella pretty thinly as you can. So I'm going to try and get 2 nice slices. Let's see, this is a hard thing to do, so I may not be able to get perfect slices, and that's okay. And in fact, you could slice it this direction, but this is so wide that I think that would be kind of difficult. I'm going to attempt it here. There we go. All right. So I've got my slices. They're not perfectly round necessarily, but I'm going to put that aside. Check on my bread. All right, so we should have our, now if you're not using whole mozzarella like this, you may have some, I've got this follow your heart type for Gabby. And so this is she can't do dairy either. So we're going to put that on hers because she also can't have cashews. So I've got this kind for her, which is totally fine. So again, all about customizing. All right, let's check our toast here. Mine aren't quite toasted yet. I like them to have little grill marks on them. So I'm gonna put mine back in to be toasted a little longer. So the next thing that we're gonna do is grab some basil. So do you guys have your mozzarella ready? Give me a thumbs up if you have your mozzarella ready. Okay, good. Good. Now we're gonna take our basil and you're gonna take the little leaves off. This is one from my garden that has been, actually it looked like it died and then it came back when it started getting warm out again. So I was really excited about that. And I have 2 different types of basil growing in my garden. I've got, this is the normal sweet basil. And then this is a type of Thai basil. And it actually has these really pretty purple flowers that come out. You can't really see it that great, but that's just another type I wanted to show you. And this Thai blue basil will root in water if you put it in a bright area and put it in some water. So I'm gonna just put that aside. So what I'm doing is I'm stacking, see if you guys can see this. Okay, I'm stacking my basil because what we're gonna do is slice it thinly, or you can use kitchen scissors, okay? So if you have kitchen scissors, this is a great place to use those.
Dawn, can we see how you're stacking it? We can't see. We can see you pulling it off, but not this, not putting it.
Okay, let me see if I can adjust this. Can you see it now?
No, still the same.
That is weird.
It's all right.
This should be enough.
It's okay. Just show us the plate. We can't, I just see your
This
apron.
is- I don't think we need any more.
Oh, you're just putting it on top.
Yeah, that's so crazy because I can see my whole, Katie, can you see my whole cutting board? You can't see my whole cutting board? Oh, I'm glad you said that. All right, I'm gonna switch back over. That is crazy because when I'm looking at it, it looks like you can see my whole cutting board. So anyway, I'm stacking them just like this. And then what I'm gonna do is I'll move this down a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm working on. Okay. So now what can you guys see what I'm doing now? Hopefully. Good. Okay. So I'm stacking these little guys. And what I'm going to do now is slice them thinly while they're stacked like that. So I'm just going to do very thin slices, or you can use your kitchen scissors and cut them into really thin slices. So you can see how they look like that, kind of sliced thin. Okay. I'm gonna, while you guys are working on that, I'm gonna check on my toast. All right, it's looking better. All right. I'm gonna pull them out. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to work with the bottom one, the bottom piece of toast. Okay. So what you're going to do is if you don't want your tomatoes to be hot, you're just going to put your cheese right on here. Okay. If you want to do the whole thing with the tomatoes and then the mozzarella on top, you are going to do the tomatoes first and then the mozzarella. So I'm going to put 2 slices of tomato, and then I'm going to lay my cheese over. So here's my cashew mozzarella. Like that. And then what we're going to do is just season it with a little salt and pepper. Okay. So I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. I'm not going to drizzle olive oil on it quite yet. Because I have like a, I guess this is extra light. This one's okay for baking, but if you've got like an extra virgin olive oil, it's best for cold things. All right, next, so there's mine. Next, I'm gonna do the one for Gabby, and she just wants the cheese directly on there. So she doesn't want the hot tomatoes. And so what I'm going to do is put her cheese on, and then I will top with the tomatoes. So there's hers. I'm just going to wipe my hands really quick. Let's see how you guys are doing. How are you doing?
Hey, we're doing great. It looks awesome. The olive oil, when does that come into play?
That's going to go on towards the end once we put our basil on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then, because extra virgin olive oil, you don't really want to bake with it as much as possible. So if you have an olive oil that is okay for frying or baking, then you can put it on over the tomatoes. But usually if you have like a good quality extra virgin olive oil is really best for cold applications. There's other things like avocado oil or coconut oil that are okay for higher heat. But we're gonna just drizzle a little olive oil over the top when we're done. Okay, let me finish getting this together. And then we're just gonna broil, and everybody's broiler is different, you guys. So you're going to want to watch your broiler closely. So let's get this in the oven. Okay. I'm gonna look at it after a minute because I don't want to overdo it. And then what we can do is, for Gabby's, I'm going to put her tomatoes on when I take it out, and then I'll put salt and pepper on top of her tomatoes. So let's get our workspace organized, because we always want to keep our workspace neat. New chefs, that's an important thing to remember, is cleaning up as you go and keeping your workspace neat, because you want to prevent cross-contamination. Okay, so I'm going to move this stuff aside, and everything's looking pretty good. I'm gonna put that right in my compost bucket. All right, time to check. Let's see how we're doing. All right, I think it can use another minute. So I'm gonna keep watching it, because mine can use another minute. How are you guys doing? Katie, I know you're just waiting for the next step, huh? Good.
Dawn, did you say that out of the basil you can plant the stem?
Not the stem. You're gonna want to leave I usually will leave, like, you know, if I'm gonna root this, what I'll do is pull off like most of the leaves. I've never tried with just the stem. Like I would leave that and root that. Yeah, okay. So I've got him in some water right there, and I'm gonna put those in a bright place. And so then I'll have these little guys for some garnish. But that African blue basil, I can probably give you a cutting of that because it grows really well. All right, let's check it. All right. Woo! Chris and Gabby's is done. Mine needs a little while longer, so I'm gonna just build Gabby's. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. That's hot. Let me get Chris's. Okay. Make room. I'll put his up here. Okay. I'm gonna put mine back in for a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start building Gabby's. So what I'm gonna do is put her tomatoes on, her fresh tomatoes, okay? I'm gonna put a little bit of salt and pepper because I hadn't done that yet. Whoops, just dropped my top of my, okay. I'm gonna try switching over again to see if you guys can see what I'm doing. Let me know if you can't see. Can you see my cutting board or is it gone again? You can see it? Okay, good. All right, let me know if you cannot see my cutting board because that is so weird why that happened. All right, so here's Gabby's right here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of basil on hers, fresh basil. This looks so pretty. And then I'm going to drizzle about a teaspoon of olive oil. Oh gosh, I can smell mine. Oh, I've got the other little crumbles of Chris and Gabby's burning on the pan here. Right. Mine is well done on the edge. That's what I get for trying to teach and to do this at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna drizzle. I may not even need a whole teaspoon, you guys. I may even just need like a quarter of a teaspoon. So I'm just gonna drizzle. This looks so pretty. I'm gonna get a plate for her. Okay. And then I'm gonna top with another half, or you can just eat these open faced, you guys, as well. If you wanna just eat them open faced. And then I'm gonna move that out of the way. And I'm actually gonna slice hers right here. All right. Now, it'll be a little bit, like the cheese will be on the top for yours. So hers will be, the top piece of bread is gonna be a little dry if you don't put the tomatoes on the bottom and then the cheese on top of the tomatoes. So hers is about done. I think it looks so pretty. So I'm gonna set that one aside. I'm gonna do Chris's, which his is gonna be easy. And plate that. And if you have any extra basil, it's so pretty to put a little piece of basil for garnish, you know, because it always looks good to have a little piece of green on there. Okay, and now I'm gonna build mine. Whoops, I'm losing my tomatoes everywhere. Let me grab my plate. All right. Ooh. So when you put the cheese on top, it looks so pretty like this. So I'm gonna put a little bit of my fresh basil. I love the Miyokos cashew cheese, melts nicely. And then let's see, what am I missing? A tiny drizzle of olive oil. Okay. Okay. Where is my teaspoon? Right on top of the, and I don't need much because I've got the cheese on top, like so. And there we go. I'm gonna top it. Oh, that looks so good. I cannot wait to eat that. And then our next recipe is gonna be really fast, so you guys can dig into that. So what I'm gonna do is just set this aside in my warm oven so that stays warm. And then we're gonna move on to our next recipe. All right. So I'm just gonna kind of clean off my board a bit. as best I can. And then we're going to move on to our summer yogurt bowl. This is going to be like something you've never tried before because it's going to have the fresh basil in it, and you're going to see how good it is with strawberries. All right, I've got my workspace all ready to go. We're going to put our yogurt in the bowl. So I got this Kite Hill plain unsweet Greek style, and I'm so excited that they are doing an unsweet Greek non-dairy yogurt, because usually the non-dairy yogurts have so much sugar, and I like to be able to regulate the amount of sweetness I'm adding. So we're adding the 1 container. And this is good for breakfast, or you could do kind of a dessert if you wanted a healthy dessert. And now what we're going to do is slice up our strawberries. So it's 5 strawberries. And you can cut these in any size you want, because this is your jam. So you can dice them, you can slice them. You guys can do these any way you want. But we're going to be adding about, I have 4 here because one of my strawberries was huge. Okay. Now I'm going to do my next one, and then you can decide if you want to do half a cucumber or how much cucumber you want to do, but I'd really like you guys to try the flavors of the cucumber, strawberry, and basil together, because it's so tasty together. Yeah, I know there was some toast remnants left on the pan.
Oh.
Your sandwich is right here.
That's mine.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, my strawberries are all chopped. Now I'm going to do my half a cucumber. I'm not peeling my cucumber because I have a little organic cucumber, and it doesn't have that waxy stuff on the outside. How is it?
Oh my gosh, it's tomato, so hold on.
Okay. So we're chopping up our cucumber. And I know this sounds weird, you guys, but trust me, it's going to be really cool. Okay. Then, yeah. Oh, will you grab me a spoon, please? Okay. So now what we're going to do is add a little bit of basil on top. Gabby gives approval of the Caprese sandwich.
I love the basil.
She said she loves the basil. You want to come say hi to everybody? Now, as an option on your, she's coming over to say hi in a second here. So here's our pretty colors, right? So as an option, what we can do is add, here she is, Chef Gabby.
Yeah, I'm back.
She's back. She had some homework, so she hasn't been able to help out. We're going to put a teaspoon of agave, or you can put some maple syrup or any kind of sweetener you want to put on top. That's optional. You could do that or not. I told you I was going to give you some options. Some other options you've got are, you could add some pumpkin seeds. Oh, and we also forgot lime. Juice of a lime, half of a lime. So I had some limes already pre-cut here. So I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice, and this is going to add just a little hint of acid. So when you're making a recipe, it's always good to add some kind of acid, which would be a vinegar, a citrus fruit. It can be tomato. And sometimes when you add acid, you can add a little less salt as well. All right, and then, and then if you want to add any kinds of nuts or seeds or anything like that, you can do that. So I've got some pumpkin seeds right here. I'm going to put those on top. And I just love, like, talk about eating the rainbow. Look at how beautiful this is. That is so pretty. Isn't that pretty? I just think that's so pretty. Okay. Oh, Gabby doesn't like the idea of the pumpkin seeds. So, and that is it. Okay, so let's try a little bite. I haven't had this since I used to make this all the time when I was developing the original cookbook. Oh my gosh. I love the fresh basil with the strawberries, and the cucumbers are just so mild. I could just have that for dinner. Well, all right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed these
Wait, ask them.
easy recipes. Gabby wants me to ask you something.
What was the acid in both of those things?
In here?
Yep, and this. Ask them which.
Okay. Gabby said she's got a quiz for you guys. What was the added acid, if you're building a recipe, in both of these recipes? Katie, do you want to take a guess? I don't know if Savannah and her friend are eating.
The added
Acid. So Gabby's quizzing you guys on what would be the added acid. Katie, can you guess?
tomato.
What do you think? Are you holding it up? So it would be
The lime.
the lime. Very good. Awesome job. And then in the sandwich, what do you think it is? Could be
Tomato.
yeah.
Tomato.
Yes. So the tomato has a little bit of acidity to it. So that's the acid in the sandwich. So that's Gabby's quiz for you guys, Chef Gabby's quiz. So I hope you guys enjoyed these recipes. I just love using basil because it's so fresh and delicious. And I am really looking forward to next week. So I hope to see you soon. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Those
Okay, thank
mozzarella
you.
sandwich.
Bye.